Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. We're ready for another fun-filled day of privacy, security, AI, business, and silly news. So I hope you are joining us and enjoying it. Go ahead and share this video out far and wide and start shaking people going, why are you still on Google? Why are you still on Google? As I say, streaming to YouTube, among other places. We are on multiple different places, streaming live on Friday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But let's go ahead and get on into the news. First up, and this is, I promise, the only major political story, at least this side of band news, Nikki Haley. And the reason I wanted to bring this up simply has to do with the content being said. It has nothing to do with the political party. It's like I said, this is the one area that the Republicans get completely, totally wrong, is the technology. Because they're all a bunch of old fogey guys farting out going, what's the difference between an ISP and a cell phone? What's the difference between a browser and a search engine? Actually, they don't even have the question. You ask them what search engine are you using, they'll say Chrome. You ask them what web browser you're using, they'll say Google. Those are not the answers to the questions I asked. Now, it's not any better necessarily in the Democratic Party, but the Democratic Party does have a better handle on technology. At least they would like to prevent big business from knowing when you're walking too close to a place that might, carve out midsections after certain engagements. But less said about that, the better. But this is the one thing that these guys never have right. And this is so far on the opposite end of the spectrum. Like, I think the Republicans are going, did you just say that? Nikki Haley says every person on social media should be verified with their real name when she becomes president. I'll assume this is her dropping out of the race. You see, I grew up without the internet. The internet wasn't a thing until we got into super late high school. We could go to the computer lab and get on the internet. Internet wasn't available in houses for the average person until the very late 1990s. You could, prior to that, get on billboards and things, but that's not exactly the internet. And even the internet we had was mostly curated through like an AOL and things like this. And so way back then, it's the critical thing. Every bit of training, everything. Don't put your real name on the internet. Don't put your real information on the internet. Be very careful on the internet. Be anonymous on the internet. And now Nikki Haley, the presidential, one of the presidential candidates in the Republican Party, is sitting here going, I'm going to make sure everybody verifies who they are to be on the internet. Yeah, you keep saying that.
When I get into office, the first thing we have to do, social media accounts, social media companies, they have to show America their algorithms.
I love that
Let
part.
us see why they're
First
pushing
part,
what they're pushing. The second thing is every person on social media should be verified by their name. That's, first of all, it's a...
All right, we're going to leave out her reasons why. You can go watch the video, hate, anti-Semitism, whatever. Republican talking points. But that's terrifying. I want everybody to be verified by your very own name. I keep on redlining, so I'm turning down the volume, so you guys are aware. So, all right, there we go. And so the what we're doing there is she's just saying, hey, we want to make sure that in order for anybody to engage in public commerce, you have to have your real name out there. Now, there was actually an interesting take I saw from Matt Walsh today on this, and I don't usually watch any of his political stuff. I want to see his social commentary, not his political commentary. He's not good at political commentary. He's good at social commentary. But I'll occasionally watch something, especially if I'm going to be doing an article like this. And he's like, and he makes a valid point. If you're a huge commentator, if you're a huge person on the internet, having your information out there is probably fine, and it's probably not going to negatively impact your life because that's probably your job, like him, like her. But for the average person, I've had my entire Discord server was shut down because I privately shared a publicly available court opinion with somebody. That is what caused our Discord server to get completely nuked, because it was quote unquote wrong think. And you want me to attach my real name to things when you're engaging in such censorious speech? That's why we're on Matrix. If you're not following us on Matrix, you can find our channel on Matrix. If you can't find it in the public directory, go to the website, switchedtolinux.com. It's linked in the bottom, and you can find the Matrix link. This is terrifying, and this is a mass violation of privacy. Our second article in Privacy for today, U.S. Congress report calls for privacy reforms after the FBI surveillance abuses. Now, this has to do with the government is getting ready to renew portions of the Patriot Act, particularly FISA Section 702. We talked about this briefly the other day, but in this one here, what they're talking about is the FBI routinely went in to do information and evidence gathering, not on the foreign internationals like the law is set up to do, but on American citizens, which is 100% unconstitutional. And they kind of walked us back a little bit going, well, this is just a case of people having a little bit more access than they're supposed to or not understanding the protocols. Now, the fact it's a possibility is the problem, as we are going to get into with our next case, our next story. But the fact it is a possibility that a person can get in here and see such data in and of itself is the sheer violation. The fact that there is a giant government database with all this information available is the thing that causes the problem. So you can't say we have this giant database, but the FBI is not supposed to access it. In fact, nobody's supposed to access it because it contains information on U.S. citizens. It begs the question, why is there the database? And if you want to know why I care so much about maintaining privacy in all aspects of my life, this is the reason why. Now, the data was collected up by anybody who is having any communication with anybody, outside the country, or a foreign person on a visa who was inside the country was also allowed, because technically that's not a U.S. citizen either, which basically means the data collection is surely increasing by simply calling your neighbor these days. Just saying. But in this, the intelligence report comes out and says, yeah, the FBI has serious abuses of this system, but we need to renew it anyway, because if we don't renew it, it's going to let all sorts of bad people out on the streets. You got to love the government, right? So that's what they're up to. FBI seriously violating these things, but hey, they got to catch those bad guys, even though every bit of research suggests having too much data lets more bad guys slip through the cracks than not having data at all. And so that is in and of itself problematic. And now on to our final story. Now, this relates to UK-based company, but to suggest this is isolated to UK is a little bit of ignorance, in my opinion. This is just the first proof concept of all the things I've been talking about is actually happening. Not really the first, because, I was saying for a long time, Fitbit's going to sell to the biggest buyer, and the biggest buyer is going to be an insurance company. Well, Fitbit, with all of its health databases on you that you've been graciously handing to their clouds, now is owned by Google and their parent company Alphabet, who is working on an insurance company. So you better believe it. That little thing you've been attaching to your wrist and going, oh, look, I can have my phone and see 5 weeks of heart health data. Isn't this amazing? As your Thanksgiving meal goes around, yet you don't realize all of that data is stored in Google servers, and then Google's health insurance companies are going to be going here. This is a company that makes most of its money selling its data about its users, right? Just saying. So what happened here is there was a company, UK Biobank. They opened a medical database for people to donate their information, their medical records. They opened this up back, I think it was like 2002. So they announced Biobank opened in 2002. People could go in, and they specifically said on the website, on the brochures, on everything else, on all of the consent forms, this is for medical research. It's not going to be going to insurance companies. It's not going to be going to governments. So obviously what happens is it's been found in the hands of insurance companies, in the hands of governments, in the hands of companies, and in the hands of all sorts of people utilizing people's medical data in order to make business decisions. And so isn't that exciting? And so what they said is, rather than coming back and saying, they said, all of that data was given to us before we changed our model. That's literally their answer. Like, why this company still has people not in jail is a very fascinating social question. We're going to give all of the data to you to not give it to insurance, not giving it to anybody but medical research. Oh, you're an insurance company doing medical research? Here you go. That's literally what happened. We had stringent protocols. The stringent protocols is, here's a stack of cash. Oh, I like that protocol. That's a neat protocol. I want the stack of cash. And so this company that has been collecting information for research purposes basically handed all over to insurance companies, mostly insurance companies doing, social experiments or medical experiments to figure out what type of genes cause people to die faster. That's literally what they were doing. Oh, these guys have these genes. Ha ha ha. This is neat information. And so, to suggest that any company is going to be focused on giving this just for medical research is complete arrogance. Now, the reason I want to bring this up is here in America, you do not often know if your hospital sharing data, and you don't even have a choice. If I were to go into a hospital and say, I opt out of you giving any data to Google, they'd be like, we can't do that, because they're not sharing it with Google. All of our health information from all of these hospitals is being shared for a variety of medical study and purposes, and we do not even have the ability to opt out, because privacy in America, as far as the constitutional protections from companies, is a complete farce. And this is something we need to deal with. So be very careful about that data, and find the smaller places. Actually, I don't know, you might find the bigger hospitals. The smaller ones outsource all this kind of stuff. The bigger ones, they tend to try and do a little bit more internally, but you got to do your homework to figure it out to make sure your information is not going to Google. Well, if you want to help support the channel, we do use affiliates. Today we are highlighting DigitalOcean, and you can use our affiliate code there, tlm.li/DOH. You're going to get $200 in credit, good for 60 days to spin up all sorts of products, test things out. One of the things you can test out is tomorrow, from when I'm recording this live, of course. So if you're seeing this edited, it's already out. The Nextcloud, we're talking about the Nextcloud all-in-one instance. One simple script. It takes 5 minutes to set up in DigitalOcean. It will give you Nextcloud, which will replace Docs, which will replace, it'll replace Google Docs. It will replace Dropbox. It will replace Zoom. It will replace your contacts and your calendars, everything fully end-to-end encrypted on your own server. DigitalOcean, I have the video about how to do that. tlm.li/DOH. Check out that video on Nextcloud. Now what we're going to do is we'll jump on over and have a look at security news. Thank you for that wonderful moving thing, Mr. Wired. All right, so in security news, first up, a spy agency leaked people's data online and then the data was stolen. Whoops. The good news is this was Bangladesh. The bad news is it does appear that there were some international people in there. I'm not sure why. There was not a ton of information about this other than National Telecommunication Monitoring Center in Bangladesh. In other words, the company monitoring everybody's telecommunications data had all of their stuff in a database that was openly accessible to the internet, and people got in there and go, oh, this is neat. No hacking required. And they just stole the data and then just started leaking it online. Types of data leaked were extensive. And so this comes on the heels of people being seriously concerned by the country monitoring people's telecommunications this deeply. They basically had this massive database that was completely unencrypted, completely insecure. List of data is long: names, professions, blood groups, parents' names, phone numbers, length of calls, vehicle registration, passport details, fingerprint photos. But this isn't a typical database leak that kind of happens all the time. Some of the data was placeholder data. Some of it was clearly test data, but some of it was absolutely real. And information was leaked online, and they're like, well, whoops. Well, this is what we get for hiring the lowest possible rate Pakistani AWS cloud developers from Pakistan, on Fiverr. This guy's going to say he's going to do it for 2 cents a month. Let's do that one. Sounds great, Junior. All right. Well, Bangladesh They done messed up. So just be aware of this when government starts saying, we're going to collect all of this data. Like, I want all this data about you. That's fascinating. Maine has announced a disclosure. I couldn't see exactly what it was, but effectively anybody doing any official business with the state, which is terrifying in and of itself. So this has to do with, we talked about this in the Ontario hospital, where we talked about the Ontario hospital data was breached, and this is a MoveIt issue. So if you remember, MoveIt is a company that several big organizations are utilizing in order to, quote unquote, safely and securely transport data from one system service to another. Well, MoveIt was completely compromised. So effectively, anybody using MoveIt, you can assume that all of the data has been compromised, whether or not they're telling you it's been compromised yet or not. And the sad thing is many governments are using this. And so the state of Maine disclosed that 1.3 million people had information leaked out. So don't worry, guys. If you're among this, they're going to give you 2 years of credit monitoring service. Yep. Maybe we just need to go back to a world where everything's not digital and we're keeping paper records again. It might actually, is it better? Like you might say, well, that's chopping down a lot of trees. Well, you're going to have to chop down a lot more trees to run the power companies that are running the data centers to house all of these databases anyway. So the trees are going to die one way or the other. Do you want the stuff secure from hackers or not secure from hackers? Because, if it's just locked filing cabinets in an office building somewhere, a little bit more secure. You might have a thief come in. The thief comes in, he can't get a whole lot. Okay, but if it's all online, some hacker from over in China can sit there in his underwear. Actually, let's say a hacker from India can sit there in his underwear, because I watch a lot of those scammer bait videos. And I remember the one guy, they had hacked his webcam back, and he's sitting there scamming people laying on his bed in his underwear. I know that's a really bad picture to have, but that happens. Dude in his underwear's over there hacking the Maine databases from across the world. Hey, this is cool. Look at this. Maybe we need to go back to the paper filing cabinets again. Do we really need all this information on the internet perpetually? So here's actually just a few different places. Maximus, Poll Employee, Louisiana, Office Motor Vehicles, DistroTube. Watch out. You might be compromised, my friend. Colorado Healthcare, Oregon Department of Transportation. Teachers Insurance Annuity. I might have a friend who uses them. Glenworth, PH Tech, Milliman Solutions, and Wilton Research Groups. If you're part of those, your data's probably been stolen too. So way to go, MoveIt. Way to go. With some guys on Fiverr again. All right. So, and just a public service announcement. We're getting right on into Black Friday next week. Who knows? Maybe we might even have a Black Friday death count. I don't know. Next week. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But credit card skimming is on the rise for the holiday season. They're warning that, I don't know, maybe this is like a tongue-in-cheek warning. Hey, if you're buying anywhere that's not Walmart or Amazon, think about buying from Walmart or Amazon instead. Way to prop up the big business, guys. Way to prop up the big business. But hey, we got to go. But they have a very valid point. A lot of stores that are not the big businesses like Walmart and Amazon, they have a greater chance of being hacked. Even things like Shopify and Squarespace and things like that, because of the custom themes, can be designed in such a way that will let a breach in that the basic security protocols of the site itself may or may not actually correctly detect. As we talked about the one that came out recently, I think this is actually that campaign. What was happening here is that they created an overlay over the original payment system. So the person would enter all their payment details. It would give them a generic error, redirect them back. They had compromised, they had stolen the payment credentials and then fed you right back to the main site again. You filled in the credentials again after it said site error. You bought it. Everything looks legitimate. Nobody realizes that your data was just stolen. That's one of the things that they're talking about. Of course, this always ramps up in the holiday seasons because of people shopping online. And so these are the list of various compromises that have been detected leading up into this holiday season. And these are the IP addresses. Any requests to any of these? So you might block these IP addresses in your local host files or server nets just to preempt anybody trying to steal any of those. And I'm not sure what you're going to do with this list. But of course, you can find all these articles here on the website, which is linked in the description of this video. You can go right to the page where all these are on, so you can study that list should you need to. Well, if you want to help support the channel, we do have a merch store, shop.switchedtolinux.com. This is fed through the Spreadshirt system, so everything's all managed through them. I'm really happy with their products. This hat is from Spreadshirt. Of course, my coffee cup over here is. Let me grab my coffee cup. There you go. And I'm actually, my hoodie has now survived 2.5 years of van life. It does need replaced after 2.5 years, but hey, 2.5 years of a hoodie of the rigors of van life, that's a good hoodie. So I'm probably going to pick up this one next time. I meant to buy one when I was back in PA last, but I didn't. We even have baby onesies. You can mess up your mother-in-law, bring your baby over to the house with an alien in a tinfoil hat. Yeah. That's a tech guy thing to do, right? But we have mouse pads, coffee cups, and hats, all sorts of stuff like that. Shop.switchedtolinux.com. With that, we have just a couple of AI articles, so let's go ahead and cover these guys. Scarlett Johansson, why are people messing with, is this Black Widow? Dude, don't mess with the Black Widow, man. She could mess you up. Scarlett Johansson is actually quite avid and has a very good legal team. She has successfully sued Disney, which is hard to do. So an app came out that allowed basically teenagers to give them a voice sample and photos, and then the app would do funny things that they could share on social media. Well, somebody got a hold of that app and fed Scarlett Johansson stuff into it and released it as a TV commercial. And then they got hammered. And of course, the company's like, this is so bad. She shouldn't have done this because it's going to cause a lot of negative stuff and blah, 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 blah. In other words, we are really, really sorry that we chose to mess with the Black Widow because apparently she does actually eat her prey. Or her legal team does anyway. So it started with legitimate footage of her, and then it went into the AI created part with a little tiny fine print saying images produced by Lisa AI, has nothing to do with this person. So the lawyers went out, sued, I think it was the AI company and whoever did the commercial, and was quite successful. So, yeah, there you have it. Don't mess with the Black Widow. And hey, I completely support this case, whatever. Of course, Tom Hanks' likeness and voice was used in a, was it a toothpaste commercial? I think something regarding dental work commercial. And he's not suing anybody, but I guess it kind of depends who you going to go with. I don't know. But there's that. This one's been making a lot of rounds. I thought we'd cover it here, and it's unclear how this is going to work. And I decided I'd throw it into the AI because there's been some talk that it's the AI, the computer, is going to be making the decisions for you. This is a federal, this is part of the Biden's expansion, was it transportation bill? And part of it required all cars manufactured by 2026 to have a kill switch that shut down the car if it detected you were a drunk driver. Now, of course, all of the people on one side are like, oh my God, what's going on? What are you trying to do? You're trying to make stuff mad. It's like Mothers Against Drunk Driving came out for wanting this thing. So if you know somebody in Mothers for Drunk Driving, please upside the head once or twice here and there. But a couple of Republicans tried to block this, were not successful. So as far as we know, this is going in unless there's a subsequent vote that blocks it. By 2026, cars will be required to have passive systems which will monitor the movements of the car and allow the car to be completely deactivated. Many people pointed out this is an absolutely horrible idea. Okay, you're on a snowy road and you got to overcorrect for some ice. The car's like, let's stop you in the middle of the frozen road. And then I have questions. Since we don't have any self-driving, is it just going to stop? Or is it going to give you time to pull over? Or if there is no place to pull over? Well, if you're on a construction zone, you have to swerve around something in the road real quick, but you're in one of those little lanes and it just decides to stop you right there. How do you get the thing started again? There's way too many questions, and we don't know what it's about. And part of this is like, it has to detect it. Does it breathe alcohol? Does it sense alcohol? Well, what if you're the designated driver? There's so many problems with this thing, but apparently they're leaving it up to the AI to determine if this is actually a drunk person or what. But as the law is written specifically, yes, car companies have to have a remote kill switch in every car manufactured after 2026. I think it's about time that we start kicking some people out of Washington and be like, what in the world are you drunken congressmen doing? I mean, they don't really care. They don't drive anyway, you know. I have an idea. Why don't we put the same technology on their voting machines? And if they go into Congress too drunk, they can't vote. If I can't drive down the road in a car drunk, you should not be able to steer this country drunk. Every one of them. And I think every person, you go into Congress, you get a breathalyzer. If you fail your breathalyzer test, you're out. Kick them out of their committees, send them back, kick them out of office, lose your pension, stop drinking on the job. You are a congressman. I hate politics. Yeah, I completely redlined my stuff that way. My apologies, folks. My apologies for all of your ears that just got destroyed because I hate drunken congressmen. These people are idiots. Well, if you'd like to send some money somewhere that's not a drunken congressman, we do have a locals page, switchedtolinux.locals.com. We did just release our latest science fiction short story for everybody that is a supporter over there on the paid supporters. You can get the audiobook, and the textbook is up there. It deals with IoT, and since I'm in the state of California, I chose a California law. Actually on the books. Article 24 is actually on the books. What does it do? What does it mean? You'll have to get the story to know for sure. If you are a supporter on any of the 4 supporter networks, Locals, Patreon, Subscribestar, or Think Life Media, you can go ahead and download that already. And you can read the story or you can listen to the audiobook. So there you have it, guys. You can help support the channel on over there. With that, let's head on over to business news. First up in business, a software update bricks Rivian infotainment system. So like we have a system update. We're going to force it on you over the air because we're going to force update your software to make a better user experience. And they bricked the infotainment system so people couldn't listen to any music or anything else. How did it happen? Well, a developer hit the wrong button and pushed the wrong software update, which completely killed a lot of the cars. Originally, they weren't sure exactly how they were going to fix it, but then they did finding a way to push the repair also over the air, so you did not have to take your car to the dealer to get it fixed. They were able to fix it. But this is why I do not want my car on the internet at all. I'm sorry. If your infotainment system is not working, don't release the car. If it is working, stop messing with it. But hackers, yeah, you make the car not available on the internet and you have solved your hacker problem. Okay. And so, if you're getting one of these amazing new vehicles, yes, they're going to try and force an update on you that's going to brick your system. But don't worry, they're going to force another update that will fix your system. Makes me wonder, what else are they forcing into your system while they're tinkering around under the hood? Very interesting questions. And we do have some Microsoft news coming up. This is one that happened, and then they pulled it out. This was news last Friday, but I pick up the news stories on Thursday night, so we didn't get a chance to include it. It was so beautiful. Windows was pushing out a test for anybody that wanted to quit OneDrive. Because like, okay, OneDrive, you suck. I don't want you ever. Like, stop booting up when I turn the computer on. In order to shut it down, you had to select a reason for quitting OneDrive. After 8 days of getting probably a bunch of nonsense, I don't know, there was an other button. I'm not sure if they gave you the ability to type it in. If they did, I wonder how many blanks they happen to have in there. Memes of hackers just going in there and typing in the script kit for like Bill Gates and a goat doing uncouth things in a field. I don't know. But after a while, what happened is they pushed us saying, you wanted to close OneDrive. You are not allowed to quit it without telling them why. So, update November 10th, Microsoft has removed the dialog, forcing users to fill out a survey when quitting OneDrive, and they reverted it to the original prompt. Between November 1st and November 8th, a small subset of customers, of consumer OneDrive users, clearly they were not OneDrive users. They were closing your stupid application. Clearly they were not users. Okay, you can tell that one of these customer service people is lying when their lips are moving. Right? Between November 1st and 8th, a small subset of consumer OneDrive users were presented with a dialog box enclosing OneDrive Sync client, asking for feedback on the reason they chose to close the application. This type of user feedback helps inform our ongoing efforts to enhance quality of our products. So here are the options you had. I don't want it running all the time. I don't know what it is. I don't use it. I'm trying to fix a problem with it. I'm trying to speed up my computer. I get too many notifications, and other goats and fields, I think. You'll need to select one of them, but they haven't included a go away and let me close the blank application option, unfortunately. They've been pushing OneDrive for years. See, a friend of mine long time ago, this is going back grad school days, close 20 or so years ago, and I had a friend of mine that went off to be an IT technician. And so we were joking about Windows back then. So Windows XP is out. So back then, Windows XP is out, and he's going, there's going to come a time when Windows is not going to let you unplug it. You try to unplug it and a claw's going to go out and bat your hand away. I think we're getting perilously close to that time. I'm glad I'm on Linux, I'm telling you. New behavior follows years of Microsoft's demanding edge prompts that appear if you dare to download Chrome or change your default browser. Last month, Microsoft even thirstily started injecting a poll into the download page of Chrome, asking why people are downloading an alternative browser. Because your browser sucks. Now Microsoft wants to know why you're closing OneDrive. What's next? You can't do that, Dave. I'm telling you. If you want to avoid this latest OneDrive nonsense, feel free to open Task Manager, search for Microsoft OneDrive, and end the task. I have a much better way for you to avoid it. It's called SwitchedToLinux, guys. It works way better. My system does not give me any notifications for advertising. It's amazing. Guys, if I had a Windows computer, I'd have thrown it out the driving by interstate for a while. I just, boom, throw that bad boy right on out the window. So there we have it. Well, apparently, though, the people in EU are also fed up. Apparently, Ars Technica does not want to load style page sheets today. There we go. EU is forcing Windows to decouple a lot of these services with Windows. So for some changes will arrive for non-EU users too, but they're not easy removals. So what's going on here is in response to EU laws requiring people to have a little bit more control over their system, apps that are critical to Windows will be labeled with a system tag in settings in the start menu. Camera, Cortana, and Photos can now be uninstalled. In the EEA edition, much more is on the way. Bing's web search from start menu and Edge browser can be uninstalled. Third parties can add Windows widgets, board feeds. Third parties like Google and DuckDuckGo can provide the built-in web search results that Bing once had exclusively. Windows who choose to sync their Microsoft accounts will have their pinned apps and preferences synced seamlessly, keeping their EEA-enabled choices, and Windows will now always use customers' configured app default settings for link and file types. That's really good. So you can only turn on this mode when you wipe your PC and refresh it, and then you choose an EU country for your, it's not just EU, it's like EU, it's whatever their EEA is, like the EU plus a few extra countries in that general region. There's a list up here somewhere, or I saw a list somewhere. It's like EU and then like, I think Norway is included in this, which I don't believe is part of EU. If you guys can look it up specifically if it's related, but you can wipe your computer, refresh it to factory, reset the system, and select the EEA mode, and then you'll have these options. So my deep prediction is we're going to see a whole lot of European Windows computers running in America. That, I think, is what the end goal of this is going to be. So there you have it, guys. Or you can just switch to Linux and have full control of your system. Hey, you want to completely destroy your operating system by uninstalling some critical core function? Go for it. Enjoy, but hopefully we know a little bit enough not to do that. So with that, if you want to help support the channel, we do have affiliates. Today we are highlighting ProWritingAid, which now has a Black Friday sale. Don't miss out. Get our biggest sale ever, 50% off yearly and lifetime subscriptions, which ends November 26th. That is about 9 days. So if you are considering trying out ProWritingAid, go ahead and go on over there. If you use my affiliate link, tlm.li/PWA, even after the sale ends, you will get 20% off at the minimum, but you'll get 50% off if you get it in the next 9 days. From when I'm recording this, tlm.li/PWA. Very good. Always been a privacy-focused system to do spelling, grammar, and other more advanced checks. They do have a free version as well. They have paid versions, and they do have a few different plugins for different things, although many of them do unfortunately relate to the Windows versions of the applications. If you do happen, though, to be on Windows or have a Windows writing computer and you use LibreOffice, there is a LibreOffice plugin, but it only works on Windows unless they've changed something. I'll have to dig into that sometime in the future, dig into a little bit more. But tlm.li/PWA if you'd like to jump on over there, take advantage of that. With that, let's head on over to SillyVille. So first up in SillyVille, CVS replaces toilet paper with framed photos of toilet paper to deter theft in D.C. So here we are in the nation's capital, and you cannot go to CVS to buy toilet paper. You have to go to CVS, look at a picture of the toilet paper, push the little button, and have the clerk come and get you the toilet paper for you. We are in a sad state when the stuff we use to wipe our butt, we have to get special permission from the staff to buy because people are stealing it too much. There you have it, guys. We should get bidets and corn husks. Come on, bidets and corn husks. Here's actually the pictures, maybe. Here you go, guys. I've actually, in my travels, only had to do a push button once. That was to pick up vitamins. It was somewhere in California. Was it California? Yeah, I was thinking it was in California. So here you go. Here's pictures of the Scott's toilet paper. Push the button for service. I think we got a crime problem in America. Well, we know that we are not allowed to use ad blockers on YouTube. So turn those ad blockers off, guys. Come on. Follow the rules so that you can see ads for ad blockers and financial scams. So turning off ad blocker is going to make you see ads for ad blockers and ads for financial scams. This is why you run an ad blocker, to make sure everything's good. All right. So here you have it. Allow ads on videos that you watch. And over here is a fake ad that's just addressing you somewhere else. Yeah, stuff we've talked about. While we're talking about this, I'll bring it up. We'll probably do another video about it in the future. They have officially declared that, yes, they are going to kill uBlock Origin on Chrome. So good time to switch to Firefox. All right, or some other browser based on Firefox, we should say. Chaos at Domino's after a free pizza glitch goes viral. Why did I not hear about this? In this down economy, I've been in California paying exorbitant prices for gas. I could have used a couple free pizzas myself. Why did no one tell me about this? I know why, because I'm not hanging around on social media. I guess if I hung around on social media, I'd get this, and maybe I would have gotten myself. I wouldn't have abused it and gotten like 20 pizzas, but give me a pizza or two for free Domino's, please. Come on. I'm doing a video. We don't have a sponsor. Domino's, I'm not asking for cash. just bring me a pizza. I mean, just bring me a pizza. That sounds good too, man. All right. So what happened is they did a promo that when you bought a pizza, you'd also get a coupon for a free emergency pizza. The problem is they didn't have the website configured correctly, and those codes could be used over and over. And once people realized those codes could be used over and over, they went viral. And then as they went viral, all around the country, people were completely swamping Domino's pizza chains for free pizzas. So many stores, over 50% of their pizzas were free. They weren't making any money. The corporate didn't seem to want to do anything about it. The regional managers had to tell the individual stores to not make the free pizzas. A few of them got special support from corporate, but most of them, it was just the owners of those particular chains had to lose the money. Corporate's not reimbursing them for that. Employees got abused for it, all sorts of other weird stuff. So quickly stores were overloaded with free pizza orders as people abused the system and the glitched codes being shared online. While some greedy pizza lovers trying to walk out of Domino's with a dozen pizzas or more, others were going the route and using the broken codes to schedule multiple free pizza deliveries for weeks on end. The system last night, like 100 times order, stretched out the weeks for free pizzas. One posted one supposed Domino's staff member. So there you have some people, of course, getting angry because this is America. I mean, did you guys see the thing? It was a few years ago when the welfare system went wonky. I think it was in Iowa or something. And the welfare system went wonky and the cards were being able to be used for everything. And all of these bums on welfare throwing TVs in their order, just massive shopping trips of stuff they know is not covered on food stamps. And then they go out, but the store clerks in the stores had to let them out. And then the government ended up, I can't remember if the government ended up having to eat the money or if the store ended up having to eat the money for all those purchases. Yeah, every single person who took advantage of that and knew what they were doing was wrong, immediately, you're off welfare. You're done. You're done. You have abused the American taxpayers. Go get a job. Go get a job. That's the same thing happening here. Some people are doing it, but hey, if they want to give me a free pizza for talking about it, hey, I'll take a free pizza. I'm out here in the desert, near Yucca Valley. Come bring me a free pizza, please. Come, buddy. It's been a while since I've had a good pizza. Actually, I had a good pizza last week, so I don't know. It's still been a while. I don't know. A week. That's a long time to go without a pizza, isn't it? I think that's a while. Anyway. Well, if you want to help support the channel, we do have a Patreon page. You can join us on over there. Patreon.com/TOMM. That will support all the different channels. Hey, let me get rid of this Google thing. We do have a writing channel as well. I do have plans soon to start uploading on Writing Done Right again for you guys that are excited about that. I do have some plans coming up. I need to hash out one more thing, and then we're going to get back to that. Christian studies. Next week, we're not going to do it. I think the week after, we're going to resume our Thursday night on the Christian studies. And obviously switch to links. Oh, good time to mention though, starting next week and for a few months, we'll be doing our supporter stream on Wednesday night, not Thursday night. So I'll have, I'll pass information out to the supporters about that. But patreon.com/TOMM. Of course, we did just drop our latest short story. So you can jump on over there and read it or download it if you are a supporter. With that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching this video from SwitchedToLinux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.